It's Song Talk Radio.
Welcome to Song Talk Radio, the show with songwriters talking to other songwriters about the craft of songwriting. We share tips, tools, and techniques, and together we all become better at writing songs. I'm your host, Neil Modi, and with me, my co-host, Santa Claus. Sorry, it's Phil Emery. I got a little mixed up there. If you guys are on the YouTube, you'll see why I made that mix up.
On the YouTube, yes, we spare no expense here at Song Talk Radio to capture the spirit of the season. But Neil, I'm doing pretty good. I'm starting to freak out because it's going to be Christmas in a few days, and living in St. John's, we don't get next day Amazon delivery. So
you gotta orders. Oh, you put your orders in real early, don't you?
Oh yeah, it's that's the only bad thing actually about living out in St. John's is there's no overnight Amazon delivery, and boy did I get used to that.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Yeah, in Toronto it's like dispatch right away. I got my last order within like 12 hours or something, or 17 hours or something. It was like less than 24. I'll say that. It's so handy. It really is. Pretty handy, yeah, for sure.
You know, talk about first world problems, but I'm full of Christmas cheer and
awesome.
Excited about our last show of 2024.
Yes, indeed it is. Yeah, and with the holidays coming up, we take a break too, take a couple of weeks off, and then get the ball rolling again in January. But yeah, looking forward to the holidays. Should be a lovely time.
Indeed.
Okay. And for everyone else, please send your comments and questions to at Song Talk Radio on Facebook or Instagram, or feedback at songtalk.ca for the email, and we'll share your thoughts on the show. And please visit songtalk.ca to see the show post for this episode, to find links to resources we mention, and to download lyric and chord sheets to follow along with the songs that we feature. Tonight, we're happy to be showcasing the final batch of our listeners and previous guest answers to the Songwriting Challenge for 2024 to write a holiday song. Before we get to that, we'd like to share some of the replies that we got from the first 3 episodes of our listener and guest songs for the challenge. So first up, we have Victor Hathaway, who wrote back to us, and Victor said, "Thanks to you and Phil for the kind words. I took your advice and put it on my Instagram. I took a self-deprecating tone in the caption because I'm not into the self-obsessed and self-congratulatory behaviors that can be part of Instagram culture. Still, I was honored to be included with a couple of great songs, and as always, I appreciate yours and Phil's analysis. I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the answers for the challenge in future episodes, and looking forward to joining you all in future meetups. Best of the holidays to you." Thank you, Victor.
Thank you, Victor. Yeah, Victor is one of the usuals at our online meetups, and always has some great stuff and some great insights as well. You know,
yeah. So he's an amazing guy. He's really cool, and he was at the meetup last week, and actually just I shared an older song of mine, and he had some good feedback, and I actually just reached out to him to give me some additional feedback on some revisions I just made. So. He's got a good songwriting brain, that guy.
You know, and that is the thing about our meetup.
Yeah,
is that it's not just Neil and me sort of giving our opinions. We do want everyone in the meetup to share their thoughts, because that's really how this all started. It actually started off with a meetup of songwriters coming together and sharing insights. So it's a very group kind of thing. Yeah,
and as hosts, we're hosts, but we're also members. Like, you know, like I shared a song and I welcomed the feedback from other members, and like
absolutely,
everyone had some really good ideas and sent me in a different direction. It was amazing.
It makes things so much faster because it's actually, you know, pretty clear feedback. It's not like, oh well, I didn't like it or I did like it. Yeah. You know, it's actually a bit more useful.
Yeah, it's useful and it's inspirational, because you walk away from the meetup and you go away from the meetup going, yeah, now I feel the gusto to like work on it now.
Oh yeah, and so many people have like started working together through the meetup as well. It's been great, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm in a band.
Good stuff.
Next from the meetup. Okay.
Absolutely.
And then next we have Steve Johnson. He wrote back to us, say, "Hey Neil and Phil, thanks so much for sharing my song on the podcast. I appreciated the kind words. You suggested I change one of the lines from new tie-dye suit to just tie-dye suit. When I first heard the suggestion, I was hesitant, but when I tried it out on guitar, I was pleasantly surprised. Thanks for the great suggestion. Thanks again. I thoroughly enjoy all of your great content. That's awesome, Steve.
That's great. So yeah, I've learned long ago that if somebody suggests something, even if you think it's the stupidest idea ever, try it, because so often you'll be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. Because at first glance, because you're used to hearing it a certain way that you wrote it, you're like, that'll never work. But then, just sit back and try it. And if it doesn't work, just switch it back.
That's a great thing. It's not like having to redo a painting or something where it's going to be hours of work,
Yeah. Break out a new piece of marble, start sculpting. And then we had our good friend of the podcast, Alex Worms. She actually shared a post on Instagram where she pulled out bits of audio from the podcast where we were talking about her holiday song, and sort of did a reaction video, like the sort of a gleeful, delightful reaction, and thanked us on her Instagram. So that was pretty cool of her to do that, which was awesome. And Melanie Peterson, who of course was the guest when we launched this episode, to talk about holiday songs. She shared her holiday song with us, and she actually did a public post on her Facebook artist page, and said, "I'm so excited to share the link to my favorite songwriting podcast, Song Talk Radio, who are breaking down songs from listeners and guests who participated in their holiday songwriting challenge. This year, submitted my new holiday single, All Roads Lead Home This Christmas, which is available now on all streaming platforms. If you're ready to feel the magic and joy of the season and potentially inspired to write your own holiday song, this podcast is for you. Help me spread the word regarding this fantastic podcast by sharing the link with your friends, especially those interested in songwriting.
Nice.
Let's make this a very inspired holiday season." Amazing.
Yeah, she's the real deal, as they say.
She's the real deal. Yeah.
Yes.
And she's got lots of followers and fans. So a lot of people saw that post and she tagged us and everything. So thank you so much, Melanie, for the heads up and for the prop up. It's amazing.
Yes.
Okay. And Don Thompson, who was my collaborator on the song, that we submitted, he wrote back to us and said, "Well, Phil latched onto that line, 'I forgot why I wanted this,' when she punched me in the eye." When I play the song for others, many chuckle when they hear that line and sometimes mention it too. It's funny how some songs have lines in them that jump out after the fact, as I never really gave that line much gravity compared to what the chorus was saying."
All right.
Very true, Don. Yeah, sometimes it's the line that you don't suspect is going to be like the most cool thing.
That is true, actually, isn't it? Yeah.
And then other people would be like, "Oh, I love that line." It's like, really? I didn't even give much thought to that one. But okay. Thanks for writing back, Don.
Awesome, Don.
And James Clark from last week's episode wrote back and says, thank you to both you and Phil for featuring the Orange Christmas song on your new episode. I appreciate it very much. I will definitely be sharing the podcast this week.
Nice.
Nice and to the point. Thank you, James. That's awesome. It's a great song. And Gerben Westerveld, who shared his song just on last week's episode. Neil and Phil, thank you for your kind words. It's true, the first verse sets the scene, but the chorus is a surprise. As you suggested, the song needs a second verse or pre-chorus that explains my doubts. So there is work to be done. I listened to the past episodes. All songs are really, really good. Your comments really add value and are spot on.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Thank you so much, Gerben. That's amazing.
Yes, Gerben always has great stuff.
Sure. Very cool. Okay, and that's about it. And of course, if of course, we'll notify the 3 songwriters who are going to be featured on today's podcast, and then if they reply to us, we'll certainly read those in our first episode back in
next
January.
year. Next year. Yes, that's right.
5. All right, let's get to today's songs. The last batch. Okay. The first song is from Nicco Rizzuto. He submitted a song called Shooting Star. He writes to us and said, it started by writing the first few lines as poetry on a train on the way back from work, not really thinking about writing a song. A year is gone, it's Christmas, the first without your love. This is something that's always been at the back of my mind since I lost my parents, and I believe we were actually close to the holiday season. Fast forward many months, and as I discovered those verses on my phone, I had the idea of writing a different Christmas song. While we usually dwell on the fun and happiness of the holiday season, I wanted to give space to the longing prompted by it, as it inevitably reminds us of our loved ones who are no longer with us. From then on, I worked alternatively on both lyrics and music until I was happy with the structure of the song and I had a coherent message, at which point I started working on the arrangement. I believe that changing the point of view to the person who is no longer with us was an afterthought after several rewrites. Once I had everything in place and I had shared the song with fellow songwriters to get feedback and make the last slight improvements, I looked for a professional demo singer on Sound Better. Of all the singers that replied, I found Mela Barnes who to be the most suitable for the song and for my pocket, which meant that I had to change the key and the arrangement to suit a female voice. I sent her the backing track and a scratched vocal track of me singing, and it just went back and forth from there until I was happy with the result. Wow, awesome, Nicco. That's a super fascinating process. Yeah, that is the really interesting thing about his song is we've had a number of songs from our listeners about loss, about grieving and things like that. This is the first one I've heard where it's from the point of view of the person who's lost.
It's really interesting.
Not of the people that are surviving. So,
and there's a very hooky line in it. So while you're listening for it, see if you can pull out the hook, and we'll talk about that after it's played.
The year is gone, it's Christmas, the first without your loved one. The longing grows unbearable with every ball you hang. But life goes on as usual, and no one seems to care. Or maybe they're just thinking there's sadness not to share. But when a shooting star lights up in the sky, just think of me, no sorrow. I long to see you smile. The fresh scent of a Christmas tree, white snow floating down. It used to bring a smile, but now it's only a frown. And everything around you reminds you I'm not there. The smell of candles, the mulled wine, it's more than you can bear. But when a shooting star lights up in the sky, just think of me, no sorrow. I long to see you smile. And if you for a moment feel warmth within your heart, I will be here to comfort you, although we're worlds apart. Don't let a distance be in the way.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. So we know exactly when the chorus hits.
Oh,
it's such a strong chorus, and that's when the shooting star lights up in the sky. Now, the hookiest part of that line is there's that little wobble on sky. On the shooting star in the sky. He does like this little wobble, and it's not there in the last chorus. But that wobble is a real sort of thing that really grabs the ear.
Well, what do you mean by wobble? Like in the...
see if I can play it again. This might be a bit harder when I'm editing, but
like in the vocal melody?
Shooting star lights up in the sky.
Oh no, it's in the second verse.
Everything around mulled wine. It's more than you can bear. But when a shooting star lights up in the sky.
Yeah, that's sky. Yeah, that is really tasty. I mean, I put that in every one
for sure
because that just kind of grabs it. It's a wonderful, and and I love that the chords. He didn't give us the chords, I think.
They didn't give us the chords, but it feels like on the end of those lines, it lights up in the sky. It feels like they're going to a minor and then coming back, and it's got a nice shape to it.
Yeah, it's great. And what a neat little bridge.
The one-line bridge.
Yeah, but it really, a bridge's goal is to refresh the palate, and you wouldn't. It's it's kind of a slower song. It's almost 4 minutes, which for a ballad is not that unusual, but it's sort of a longer song. So you might not want a whole complicated bridge because that might pull it into 5 or 6 minutes, which could, depending on where you sit on that could be a good or a bad thing. But the fact that there's just that one line of a bridge, it just clears the auditory palette and makes everything just kind of go, ooh, that's great. And again, and such a wonderful original approach, about talking about someone who's not there. It's
but talking about it from the deceased side.
Yeah.
And it's clear, like you don't even need to be told that. Like it's it used to bring you smile. Especially don't let our especially that bridge. Like it really pulls the point home. Don't let our distance be in the way and rob you of the joy.
Yeah. What a great tune.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a song worth pursuing, and I would, maybe demo it up. There's probably a couple of places you might want to, tighten up the lyrics here and there, to pull it up to the next level. But it's because it's a great song, and it's worth putting some more time. And, I could see being able to shop that around, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's got that sort of, again, it's got a little bit of that musical theater, Broadway, cinematic, epic, sort of feel to it. Sounds like the middle ballad in a musical.
That's true. What a fantastic melody. I mean, you can actually just listen to the melody itself, and it would be a great song. And that's
amazing prosody, right? Shooting star, and it just lifts right up.
It's great.
Right. I mean, granted, shooting stars come down, but at least you're looking up.
That's true. So it may not be the big hit, amongst physics teachers, but
astrophysicists. Like, really? Shooting star melody should go down. What are you doing?
That's true. I'm going to write a letter to Scientific American.
Yes, exactly. Well, they're clear. It lights up in the sky.
Yes.
So where are you looking at?
Yeah.
You're not going to see a shooting star on the ground.
Yeah, a great tune. Congratulations, Nicco. Fantastic.
Amazing stuff.
Fantastic stuff, yeah.
Great stuff. Okay, let's move on to Paul Gallagher. And Paul Gallagher, of course, is a good friend of the meetup. He wrote to us and said, for this holiday song, December Lights, I'm with you there. I brought in my research to include global cultures In the Southern Hemisphere, December is summer. Many cultures celebrate with lights and the 3 Fs: family, food, and fun. These celebrations foster connection, emphasizing the universal desire to be seen and heard. I began with the song's arrangement, experimenting with chords for verses, choruses, and bridges. Yes, I used a minor major 7 as the chord. Minor major 7. Okay. I crafted lyrics over weeks of trial and error. Eventually, I put away my overthinking hat. Finally, I developed a simple melody. Even as I was making the final recording, the lyrics and chords had to be tweaked. And though I can't sing well, I'm happy I wrote a song that I like. Cool. All right. Thank you, Paul, for
absolutely
your song. And so let's take a listen. This is December Lights by Paul Gallagher.
December night sky, there's a star that shines north or south. You can see it anytime. Wherever we go, there we are. Cheerful lights shine like the stars in the sky. Houses glow, memories breathe a sigh. Wherever we go, there we are. December lights, biggest smiles. Let's make the best of times. Warm hearts shine. Open doors and good cheer, embracing the new year. Children know the magic of hope, excitement and glee, crystal clear. December lights, biggest smiles. Let's make the best of times. Warm hearts shine. I'm with you there. I'm with you there. Handmade greetings. The list is getting shorter. Missing mom's pot pie and dad's special sauce. Most of all, I miss the tender hugs after all these years. December lights, biggest smiles. Let's make the best of times. December lights, warmest hearts. I'm with you there. I'm with you there. Fear of missing out. Let's not fall for that. December lights, like that star, open our hearts. December lights, finding that place where we are. December lights, I'm with you there. December lights, I'm with you there. December lights, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
Cool.
always great stuff.
Yeah, he's such a quirky writer of all.
Yeah. You know, I really love those two lines. Wherever we go, there we are. It's a very polished way of ending like the verse. Like it really kind of sets up the verse. Like for every at the end of every verse, I would use those 2 lines because I think they're really strong, or at least there we are, wherever we go, there we are, wherever we were, there we are type thing.
Yeah.
Because it really kind of, it sounded like a really professional kind of verse. And my only thought was like the chorus, like the December lights, but I wanted December lights at the end of the chorus as well. I'm with you there, December nights.
Yeah. That's that's an interesting thought. Yeah, to cap it off with December lights.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool ideas in here. Like you say, that wherever we go, there we are is kind of cool. The bridge was kind of fun with all the images of mom's pot pie and dad's special sauce.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun. And I kind of dig the outro. It's a little more riffing.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Which is kind of fun. But you highlighting that wherever we go, there we are makes me want to suggest to Paul that maybe the end of the chorus is I'm with you there, and there we are.
Ooh, that's nice. Yes.
Right? And then you could even flip it on the other chorus. You're with me there, and there we are.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Which might be kind of an interesting way to cap off the chorus, because there's a little bit of playing with the pieces here.
Yeah, because the chorus is kind of neat, and it felt like it ended a little bit too soon for me. I was just like, oh, it's kind of done.
Well, and I feel like that's a bit of Paul's approach.
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
With his this, obviously we've known him for a while, and he's submitted to our challenge before, and we see him regularly at the meetup. And he has this really interesting way of ending his sections on tension. And he even ended this song on the tension. I feel like this song ended on the 5. Yeah. Just left us holding there, and we want to resolve. Right. And I feel like for like his melodies are actually kind of sing-songy. And I almost want to sit down with him and reharmonize the crap out of this thing. Yeah. and put it to like a 1-4-5 kind of chord progression and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because it might be kind of cool, and especially even the way he has ended the chorus, I'm with you there, I'm with you there. Even if he decides to take our suggestion and go, I'm with you there, there we are. It's a resolution. The lyric is resolved. Yes. Right. So why not really bring it back to the home chord? Right. Really let it resolve. Even if you wanted to end it with December night, December lights, right? It's still a resolved lyric. So why not resolve the music? Bring us to a standstill, right? And then go into the verse. Because right now, I think that's your feeling that it's not. Yeah, it doesn't resolve. It doesn't resolve, right? It doesn't come to a close before we open up another verse. Yeah. And I think that's in the chord choices, because his melodies are pretty cool. Like they're. Oh yeah. Well, he's such a jazzer, Like, I don't think I've ever heard him play like a C chord, It's always There's a lot of 7s and 9s and things all over the place. But that doesn't mean you can't resolve. That's true. That's true. It doesn't have to be a 1-4-5. Could be a 1-4 minor 4 augmented 6 1. Okay, as long as we're coming back. That is true. It's with Christmas music. There's often, even in happy songs, there's always a little bit of melancholy, sometimes more than others. But like in the bridge, it's all very nice about cheerful lights shine, houses glow, memories breathe in the night, and then miss the tender hugs after all these years. Yeah, and it kind of made me go, yeah, it's a little sad. It's a little sad. Even memories breathe a sigh. Yeah, suggests something of loss. But you're right. Yeah, it is in the bridge. It is in the bridge where he's frankly he's painting more of a picture in the bridge. Yes. To me. Yeah. But it's also most of all, I miss the tender hugs after all these years. Really stands out as perhaps even antithetical to the rest of the song, because there's nothing else in the song really that points in that direction. Yeah, it's true. Let's make the best of times maybe suggests. we're doing the best we can, kind of thing with our circumstances.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what a bridge you want it to be lyrically a little bit different as well. So
yeah, for sure. And he does go there, right? But I think we talked about this with Melanie on the launch episode, that even if you're used to doing jazz chords and things like that, there's space in a holiday song, especially if you're writing a mostly happy holiday song, to be a little more poppy.
Yeah, it's true.
Right, and sing-songy, and you're almost more allowed to do it here than anywhere else, right?
Yeah, that's very true, actually. Yeah.
So I mean, it depends what you're going for, but I think in this context, I would like to hear it a little, just like really, really brighten up the chord choices. And see what you get.
And you can always do the things where your chorus is not as extendy. Doesn't have all those jazz chords. It's a little bit more straight to kind of give it a bit more contrast. But
yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's a neat song. Another song I think that deserves a bit of it's well worth working on it a bit more. I think because it's got some great stuff in there. Mm-hmm. I just said I still love wherever we go, there we are. What a great line.
Sounds a little reminds me of a Beautiful South line for some reason.
Well, I think it's a Groucho Marx line.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think his line was, things are so crazy these days. You just turn around and there you are, or something like that.
That's cool.
So kids, open up Wikipedia and look up Groucho Marx, because you probably don't know him that much.
Cool. Yeah. I only meant it sounded like the kind of line that Beautiful South would have written.
Absolutely.
Or Morrissey, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Okay. And our final song for the Songwriting Challenge listener songs, Greg Wired, who was our guest on the show a few weeks back. And actually, that's how he heard about the challenge. And he wrote to us. Actually, this is from his press release, because he's released this song officially. Toronto singer-songwriter Greg Wired is thrilled to announce the release of his first ever original Christmas song entitled Merry Christmas to All. A song near to his heart, it was shared almost 2 decades ago, and given the title Merry Christmas to All, but with no deadline in mind, it was never finished. Then in November 2024, after an appearance on the Toronto-based Song Talk Radio podcast, Greg decided to take the holiday song challenge proposed by the show and finally flesh out his unfinished song. In coming up with a theme for a song, he decided to harken back to the innocent days of childhood, going to bed on Christmas Eve, dreaming about Christmas, and then waking up to stockings full of presents in the morning. Over the years, growing up and becoming an adult, the childhood magic evolves into something different as Christmas becomes more about family get-togethers and keeping in touch with those you care about. So Greg decided to cover both themes. The verses talk about the child perspective, and the choruses focus on the getting together of family and friends. In creating the feel for the song, Greg drew on familiar elements, sleigh bells, chiming keyboards, and simple phrases. He hopes it inspires the Christmas spirit this Christmas. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a great songwriter, and
he's a great songwriter. I'm so happy that it was appearing on our podcast that lit him up to complete this song that's decades old.
Well, that's as all songwriters, we all have songs that are in various stages of completion, and sometimes they're decades old, and it's good to finish them off, because otherwise they'll just go into the ether.
Exactly. Okay, let's take a listen to Greg Wired's Merry Christmas to All.
Every Christmas morning since the day I was born, I've had these childhood memories. I would wake up early and the real world would turn out just as happy as my dreams. And all the choir voices singing their hearts out. For a moment all the problems of their daily lives are cast out. Let's all get together. Merry Christmas, one 2 or 3 or 4. After opening presents and laughing with friends, a winter wonder waits for you. Let it snow in the garden, someone starting a snowball fight. When the evening rolls around, you'll be astounded by the Christmas lights. Merry Christmas, let's all get together. Merry Christmas, one and all. Merry Christmas, let's all have a party. Merry Christmas to all. Merry Christmas to all. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody, to all. Hope you have a happy New Year too. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody, to all. Hope you have a to all. Merry Christmas, let's all get together. Merry Christmas, one and all. One and all. Merry Christmas, let's all have a party. Merry Christmas to all. Merry Christmas to all.
Oh, yeah. Now, so we were talking about the chorus resolving, and this one very much does.
Very much does, yeah. Totally.
You know, the Merry Christmas to all, that really resolves the one. And what's fun is he kind of plays with that on the last two,
yeah.
on the last, second last chorus, because
Yeah, on
you
the second
expect
chorus,
it
really.
to go to resolve, and it doesn't, and it kind of
doesn't.
sets up a really nice thing.
I love that moment.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
such a good moment because you look at the lyric sheet, you go, okay, this is interesting. There's no bridge, but that effectively makes a bridge.
Yes.
He doesn't go to another place lyrically, but he goes to another place tonally,
Yeah.
and then pulls us back, which is really, really cool.
And it's a chord progression that sounds very Christmassy, you know?
It does. This seems like there's like a dominant of a dominant kind of thing happening.
Yeah.
You know, just going away and coming back.
Because I was listening to this and going, you know, could this be another kind of song? And I don't know if it could. It does sound so, you know, Christmassy. But yeah, it's great. And again, very clear chorus and very sing-songy and
a very cool pre-chorus, actually.
yes.
The melody really changes, the content changes. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's a very tight song, you know. It's not a huge long lyric sheet.
No.
The choruses are basically all the same, lyrically.
And extraordinarily simple.
But, you know, again, you don't need much, I think, because you want to, especially when you're talking about these images that everyone sort of goes through, you know, it's, yeah, his stuff is always great.
Yeah. It's like a pure pop song. It's like really,
Yeah.
really, really, really lovely that way. I noticed this, I mean, because we have the advantage of the lyric sheet. I don't know if this is an advantage or not, but of course, our listeners as well can find the lyric sheet on the website on the show post. The second verse, after opening presents and laughing with friends, and I was reading it before he sang it, and I was like, opening is going to throw you off because it's 3 syllables.
It's a weird word, yeah.
It's a weird word, and he sang it in 2 syllables.
Oh, right.
Opening.
Yeah.
Or I forget how he sang it, but he sang it in 2 syllables. It wasn't opening.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to fudge the language a little bit so you wouldn't sing it exactly the way you say it, but you kind of fudge it to make it work.
Yeah, and because it gives it a bit of swing when you do that too, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But it didn't sound sort of clumsy or anything like that. So
no, surely not. It was that if anything, is smoothed it out. If he sang all 3 syllables, it would feel clumsy.
Yeah, there's certain words that are really tough to sing. You know, like things with lots of R's. Arms is always a tough word, which I found out when I wrote a song called "These Two Arms." Like arms, like because after a while you say arms,
sounding wrong after a while.
Arms, and you're just going like, is that a word?
Yeah,
doesn't sound like a word.
British alms.
Alms.
Just get rid of the R. You don't need the R.
But what fantastic songs from our listeners.
Amazing stuff.
Absolutely great stuff.
So yeah, that is it for all the songs. I mean, we went through 4 episodes of listener songs. What's your thoughts, Phil, on the listener songs? Reflecting on that.
The best thing is all the different approaches to the subject, and everyone did write a Christmas song, although you didn't have to, but people tend to write a Christmas song. But the different approaches, like from the psychedelic Christmas to James Clark
robbing a Dollarama.
Crime-filled Christmas tune. Alex is very sort of pure stuff, and it's great. And and Nicco's taken an approach which was so different, which kind of went head first into loss in a really original way.
Yeah. Because it amazed me how many songs from our listeners and guests that were about loss. And I'll be honest, most of the listener songs, there were more listener songs about loss. Most of the guest songs tend to be more straightforward, Happy Christmas, sort of things. Melanie certainly, Greg's certainly, Alex's to a large degree.
Yeah.
They're all very straight down the middle kind of.
Well, and I think also it's, if you've written a bunch of holiday songs, you will tend to, maybe get the darkness out with the first couple, and then you'll sort of move out. And it's it's like every songwriter dreams of having the next Winter Wonderland. If you have that, then you're set for life, and everyone wants to have a song that everyone grasps onto. But having stuff that's too sad can throw it off, although I've always enjoyed the more sort of darker things like Fairy Tale of New York. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, which of course was actually a very sad song in the movie. Just the variety of approaches and the quality of all the songs were really good. Yeah, really blown away. Yeah.
It's an interesting question for me about that, the darkness stuff, right? Because even the sadder songs, they weren't all sad, right?
No.
There's always a good deal of light in them.
Yeah,
because it's Christmas time.
Yeah,
because
true.
It's holiday time, right?
Yeah.
So there's always a little bit of that light, even the sadder ones, or the melody is uplifting, or it's or it's kind of at the darkest we went with the listener songs was calling it melancholy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There's nothing was a really deep, depressing dirge. You remember the 80s film Gremlins?
Of course.
I saw it a number of years ago now. I mean, I saw it when I was a kid, but I saw it a number of years ago, and I kind of forgot about that middle story where the love interest, the girl, is recounting how she doesn't like Christmas anymore because when she was a little girl, they went to light the fireplace and discovered this weird smell. It turns out her dad was dressed up as Santa Claus to bring and climbed down the chimney, got stuck, and passed away. And I'm like, Gremlins is such like a lighthearted,
it's
Christmas
dark.
movie. And then they throw in that story. I was like, oh God, like how dark can you get?
It's almost like a horror film. I mean, the Gremlins were,
I suppose,
pretty, were kind of cute even when they were nasty. But it's, it's a dark stuff.
But the whole thing, like the tone of the movie, really changes in that moment, right? And you're like, whoa, that's really dark. And then we're back to dun, 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 the music and whatever, right? And I don't know, it's just kind of, this discussion just kind of reminded me of that, like how dark can you go at holiday time? Well, there you go.
Well, that's true, actually. But it's also, if I remember correctly, they never actually mentioned that again. And maybe if that happened, you probably wouldn't mention it again because it's pretty horrific. But it's also pretty horrific. I don't know if that would make it through the editing now. with the sensitivity, people might not be so open.
Yeah,
but,
I suppose. I mean, it wouldn't make it into if Hallmark was making that movie, but
no. But I know lots of very intellectual kinds of people who love those Hallmark movies, and they just consume them, even though they're basically all the same movie each and every time. But it's.
At least we didn't get any Hallmark songs, or did we? I don't know.
Oh no, actually that's true. They don't have any Hallmark songs.
No.
Well, maybe that'll be the next one.
Yeah.
But of all the songs that do you have a favorite?
I don't know. I had Stephen Tate's song going through my head for days. I had Alex's Warm song going through my head for days.
Yes.
So yeah, those two stand out as the earworm songs for me. Yeah. How about you?
Well, of course, Greg. I mean, I love all of Greg's stuff. I mean, Greg's stuff is really
he's great.
Like, he's really up my alley. He's, it's very British, lots of Beatles, sort of, lots of nods to Genesis, his approach. And, so that kind of really talks to me. But I think the one that I really liked was Shooting Star. Yeah, it's, I don't think it's finished. It needs a bit of tweaking to get it up to the next level, but the chorus is so strong and kind of sort of original in a way that the other one that really kind of spoke to me. And and it's something I could see with a bit of polish could really go quite far. I really liked that. That was one of the ones that stood up. And of course, James Clark. But again, James Clark also loves all the stuff that I love. So so it's not like we both love Elvis Costello and the Jam and all that stuff. So Yeah, and I think also John and Michelle's song "You'll Be Coming Around." Like as far as the ballads are concerned for this challenge, I mean that one just floored me. It was so gorgeous. Yeah. And so it's great stuff. And everyone's songs was great though, for sure. Yeah, and like Paul just cranks the tunes out. He has a new song basically for every meetup, I think. Yeah, pretty much. And I don't know how he does it. He's always got a neat idea to pull out. Yeah. I think he's also a member of like a couple of songwriting groups as well. He's with the TSA for sure, Toronto Songwriters Association. Yeah. I've seen him post about their meetings and stuff like that. There's lots of stuff, but it was great. It's wonderful to hear people, liking the show and getting something out of the exercise. Yeah, for sure. The next one's gonna be a bit of a. Next one's gonna scare me a bit, but that's good. Okie dokie. It's a. You won't have any problem with it, but. Yeah. Spoiler alert. We'll get to that in the new year. That's true. Just give it a little time. We'll get to there. Yes. But of course, this is the last podcast of 2024. That's right. It's a good wrap on the 2024 season. Yeah. And it's been an interesting year with lots of interesting changes, but at least no more COVID, so that's something. But we're still doing it over Zoom. It's true, actually. Yeah, which has turned out to be great because we're getting guests from all over the place, and it's amazing. Yeah, I don't know if it would be a very different show if it was still on the radio. Yeah, I guess it'd be something, but yeah, no, this is some great stuff, I think. Yeah, it's awesome. So. I think that's about all the time we have. So special thanks to all our listeners and all our past guests who contributed to our challenge. That was really amazing to hear. And definitely check out the webpage. We have a dedicated webpage for this challenge. You can peruse it, check out all the past episodes and all resources. There's a few resources. Yeah. Okay. And that's a wrap for 2024 as well. Great year. Indeed. Well done, Phil. Okay, we want to hear from you, so please send your comments, Facebook or Instagram at Song Talk Radio, or send us an email, feedback@songtalk.ca. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel for live performance videos and full episodes,
Subscribe today to the Song Talk Radio podcast on your favorite podcast provider. You can find links to all the products, books, and web services we mentioned on the show in our resources page on the website. And please join us at our next monthly Song Talk meetup. Whether you're in Toronto for in-person meetups or anywhere in the world for our online meetups, it's free to join on meetup.com and free to attend. Bring a song and a lyric sheet and get constructive feedback from other songwriters. Stop by songtalk.ca for the link. You can follow me at neilmodi.com. You can follow Phil.
PhilEmery.ca.
And be sure to stop by the website, songtalk.ca, to browse past shows, find out how you can be a guest. Happy holidays to all our listeners and previous guests. See you all in 2025. And as usual,
keep on writing. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Happy Hanukkah. Merry Tuesday.
Happy everything.
Happy everything.